Looks like it's going to work. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw a couple little Christmas gnomes, and they're going to look something like this when we're done. Okay, these are a couple I drew this morning. That's how we're going to do it, but we're going to start with a cone. And if our paper's in front of us like this, we're going to go this side for one of the characters, this side for the other. So make sure you have them separated so they've got plenty of room for both. I'm going to draw them fairly large. I'm going to have you just follow along as I do this. So I'm just going to put light lines to start with. Just hang on just for a second. Let me get this on here. I'll darken it in a little so you can see it here in just a second. I need a nice curve at the bottom. So I'm going to draw mine a little darker than you need to draw yours just so you can see it on the screen. But keep yours as light as you can because you will erase quite a bit of it. So there is a cone, and you'll notice that it's pretty good sized. Okay. In fact, I probably could have done these vertically, been just fine. But now, before I do the other cone, well, I'll just go ahead and do it. I'm just going to put a little light line that comes across here so I know where the ground is. A little light line, this is where my feet will end. Just try and keep it so when I draw the feet on this guy, they're on the same plane as this guy. Speaking of feet, I'm going to draw those on there right now, and then we're going to place his arms on him a little bit, and then we'll do more detail later. So the feet are just basically half circles. They need to look like they're big enough to hold him up. If you can't draw a half circle, draw the letter C, because that's all it is. This one's a little too small, so I'll make it a little bit bigger. And try to keep them pretty centered on there. If you have two off to the left or two off to the right, he's going to just tip over. I think we'll draw one guy first, then we'll draw the next guy. That way we can place him on the paper. So I'm going to come up. Is everybody this far? Anybody need a second to get that far? All right, so we're going to come up towards the top. We're going to come down about a little over an inch, and we're going to put a curved line right here, like that. It goes clear across. That's going to be the bottom of the fur on his hat. Then I'll come above it, put a parallel line above it. Don't draw that too dark because we are going to put some eyebrows, and I'm going to put like a parenthesis shape on each end. I'll bring that a little closer so it's easier for you to see. I'm just going to erase out the cone inside of it. So right now it looks like a cone with a traffic cone on its head. So we'll change and put other details on it later. Right in the middle of this, between here and here, we're going to put an oval, a large nose. I'm going to draw it lightly first to make sure it's oval shape. I see it's what I want. Going back over it, darker. There's his big nose. So I'm going to erase this lower line here, just make it a little bit lighter. Because when I do the mustache, it's going to come up in it a little bit. So I'm going to put his mustache on him, and I'm going to start right here on the side of the nose, come up a little bit above where that trim goes around the hat. I'm just kind of putting an S shape on either side. I don't like the angle of this one. I'm going to try to make it look more like the one on this side. And that's just the top of the mustache right there. This is the part we're drawing right here, okay? I'm looking at, I still don't like it, so I'm going to change it. Okay, from the center, I'm going to make a little mark right in the middle of his nose, and I'm going to put a light line that goes sweeping this way, and another one that sweeps that way, and then I'm going to come in and put individual little hairs in there in just a second. So I'm just going to meet in the middle, come over here, do the same thing. Keep that fairly light because we're going to change it a little bit. That's just to get the size on there. It should be a big, thick, full mustache. So what we're trying to accomplish here is we're trying to improve our freehanding skills a little bit and our shading skills. That's kind of the objective of this lesson. All right, now we're going to texture that mustache a little bit. I'm going to lighten this line. This was just to show me the size. So I'm going to lighten it up now that I know where it goes. On this side, I'm going to bring some lines that go in, out, and then back to that main part. That is basically just the letter N, I'll come out here, do the same thing, and then just blend it right into the end. Okay, and I'll hold that up close so it's easier for you to see. Hopefully it'll focus. There we go. Almost like little bird wings coming off the nose. Make sure there's a curve to it as you're drawing it, as you're drawing those little cutouts. Make sure there's a little bit of a curve. Don't draw them as straight lines like you did it with a ruler. All right, we're going to draw a letter U right here for the mouth. We're going to put a little bottom lip underneath it. It should be a little thick. Don't make it too skinny. Okay. And inside that mouth, we're going to draw something that looks like a little bum, but it's the tongue. So it's going to just come up, curve over about halfway, and then bring the other half on there. I say that, it looks like a little bum. That's just what it looks like, but it is the tongue. Now, if I start to get way too far ahead, you need to let me know. I'll pause for a minute and slow down. So, I'll give you guys a chance to catch up here right now before I do the beard. When we do the beard, we'll do it in a similar manner than what we did the mustache, where we just do kind of an outline to get the size, and then we'll go back and put the cutouts out. The trick to a gnome is to give it a big old beard. Does anybody need more time to get to this point, or are we all good? All right, so I'm going to come clear over here by the edge of my cone right here. I'm going to bring a line that comes out and curves down towards the center, just like that. It kind of goes off to the right a little bit. Not too far, though. Don't draw that too dark, because like I say, this is just going to give us our size. Then we'll come in and put the beard texture on it. Then on this side, from the same area, coming just outside the cone, I'm going to draw an S curve that comes up and it goes way out and meets right there. Keeping that fairly light, starting in the same place. I come outside the cone, curve it slightly in, and bring it down. It's a huge beard. I would rather you err on the side of it being a little too big than being a little too small. All right, we're just going to block that in for now. We'll come back and do detail on it in a second. We're going to come over here and we're going to put his arms on. We're going to come just a little bit below the mustache. I'm going to angle that one up, come straight across, angle this one up. That's the top part of the arm. And I have to keep it fairly light because if I need to erase, about where my beard meets the body, I'm going to bring the bottom part, so it needs to be a fairly thick arm. It's a short, thick arm. Like that. But we're going to stay with kind of big, bold shapes that are relatively easy. Because technically, if I come over here and I go like this, it's just a rectangle. Over here, it's just a rectangle. That's all it is. That one a little bit thicker. Okay, right here, I'm going to bring, line comes down here like this, and curves around, comes just past the edge. So it curves just past the edge of the top and the bottom of the arm. Looks kind of like a hot dog bun. And what it is on the trim, the trim on the end of his sleeve. So I can actually darken this in now because I'm not going to change anything else about that. And now all he needs is his hands. And you're going to love the hands because they'll be about the easiest hands you'll ever draw. when you're drawing these things like the trim, think in terms, okay, it's trim on the cuff. It's not going to be super wide. It's going to be relatively even on both sides. Okay, for the hand, we're going to go very lightly. I'm going to come in here and make a circle, half kind of oblong circle. Just going to come around here just like this. I drew it light first. Kind of a circular shape. I did not connect it. I have a little space right here. I did not connect it at the top. It's like a backwards letter C. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Turn it this way though. Draw it lightly first. I'm just drawing a letter C and not closing it at the end. So it's longer on the bottom, shorter on the top. It's basically a C and a backwards C. The only finger we got to worry about is the thumb because they're wearing mittens, and that makes this way easier. I'm just going to draw a thumb lightly on here. It'll come out. I'm going to draw it light, come up a little bit, bring it down, let that overlap. So it just comes up, curves around, comes down. Try not to make it look too long or too skinny. Should be a fat little thumb. I'll do the same thing on this side. He's got his two thumbs. That's probably about the easiest hand you'll ever draw on here because it's just a thumb and a C. When you break it down, just take it in parts. It's much easier to draw these things. Okay, just like we have trim right here, and right here, we need to put some on the bottom of the coat. So we're going to draw a parallel line that comes past the edge of our original cone. Right here. If you got to go behind your beard or whatever, that's fine too. And come past the edge on the other side. I'm going to darken this out, bring it up. I'm just going to take a curved line, bring that around, and bring it slightly above. Bring this around, bring it slightly above. So that when I put this side of his coat on him, the idea is to make it look like it wraps around the base of his coat. All right, now that we have him basically blocked in, we'll do a little more detail work. And we'll be done with the line drawing on him, and we can work on our other guy. And we'll shade him in last. Okay, let's go ahead and put the detail on the beard. Does anybody need more time before I move to the beard? Raise your hand if you do need more time before I move on. All right. You two, just give me a thumbs up. As soon as you're ready, we'll move on. right, so let's, for the beard, we're not going to do a lot of these zigzags, just a few. Just follow along, cut it out, follow the curve around, make a little cut out, and then just bring it right back into the main line. So then I'll erase out the original line, and it only has 1, 2, 3 points, 4 if you count the one at the bottom. So we're just, and they're all curved. Those lines are curved. I'm not going straight, 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 straight. He didn't just stick his tongue in a light socket. I mean, they're curved. If he was shocked, they would be very straight. And however many I put on this side, just for the sake of balance, I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to come down, zig back in, make a long one, zig out, and bring that right down to the point. Now he's got a beard that looks a little more furry and fuzzy than just a straight line. Could you do this all with just a straight line on the mustache and around the beard like it was before we changed it? Yeah, you could, and it'd still look pretty good. But I'm just trying to take it to a little higher level without going too crazy about it. And for some reason, I haven't quite figured out why, but I know that some of you really struggle with that zigzag line. So if that's you and you really had a hard time with it later during class, we got a second, bring it to me and we'll help straighten it out before you try to shade it in. So. All right, down here at the feet, we're going to put the soles on these little boots. So I'm just going to bring a straight line across, one across the bottom, same right here, across the bottom. It looks to me like part of the boot would show right here, so I'm going to bring a little line up there, a little line up there. I'm not going to put it on the inside because it looks like the coat covers it. So the outside of the boot, I've got a little line, and then just the sole on each boot. Now I told you to keep these lines on this fur trim or this fuzzy trim a little bit light. That's because we're going to put a couple of eyebrows here. I'm going to have them at a diagonal. One's going to go that way, and one is going to go that way. So for right now, you need the straight line. That's the bottom edge of the eyebrows that we're going to create here in just a second. Axel, can you see all right? Because if you can't, you can move towards the center somewhere if you want. That's kind of a hard angle right there. Okay, to the right of that one, I'm going to erase a little bit of that trim. To the left of this one, I'm going to erase a little bit of trim. I can always draw some more back in later, but I need space between that diagonal line and where my fingers are. So now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to make a little zigzag, little zigzag, little zigzag down. Go the other way, zigzag, and down. Got two eyebrows. I'll bring that up really close and hopefully it'll focus eventually. There we go. All right, now you can see what you're doing. Two big fluffy eyebrows. And then I'll go back, that trim, I'll take it back to the edge, put it between, bring it right here, because I'm not going to erase any more on that trim, so I can darken it up now and be fine. Line drawing wise, about all I got left is the hat and the little fur thing on top. But I think before we do that, we'll put a little curve right here on the mitten. Just put a little curve right there. I'm going to go on the opposite way on that side. Okay. Autumn, can I get you to go up there and touch that screen and then tap on the one on the right when it comes up? Perfect, thank you. All right, when we draw this hat on top, we want it to look a little lumpy and not too straight. If we just did it straight, it would literally look like a traffic cone on his head. That's not what we want. This is just to give us a guideline of where to go. So I'm going to start out by the edge of my trim. I'm going to go out, in, out, and I'm going to round it off on the top. I'm out. It's just kind of a round, you know, organic, more of an organic shape, like it's starting to melt or something. And then right off the top of it, I'll put a light line right here to show me where I'm going to put the ball. And then I'm going to just draw it with little lines going around it, all the way around, like it's a little fuzzy ball on the top of his head. Bring that up closer so you can see it. As soon as it focuses, and then you can see little teeny short lines. Now, if you just wanted to make it a round circle like all the other trims, just a straight line around it, you can do that too. I just like a little fuzzy one. And technically, you could make it all fuzzy on all the trim, but it'd take a while. All right, get rid of that cone on the inside. I drew it light so it's easy to erase, make it go away. Darken this line now. I'm at the end, so I'm just darkening any lines that I think I need to. And he is done, basically, that one. And hopefully it went all right. Does anybody need help with the hair texture at all before I move on to the next one? Okay, that's good. Okay, our next guy is going to be shorter. And so we're going to draw this cone quite a bit shorter. It's going to be just about the same width though. Maybe put a little more of an angle on it. I don't know what that was. Did something pop up on the screen? Okay, so I'm making a smaller cone right there. It looks like I actually need to bring that trim down a little further, so what I'll do is just draw the trim right now. Rather than redraw another line. So I kind of have traffic cone drawn there right now, and then we'll put his shoes on him. We'll do these shoes just slightly different. So Since we're down here, I'm going to draw one of the shoes. It's going to face us just like the one that we did, these two here. This will be more to the right. I'll have it come up inside, trim just a little bit. Again, it's just basically a letter C. Come straight over. I'm going to put the sole on it, and erase out any of the trim that's inside of it. Okay, so there's that one. It's just like this one. The other one's going to be different. Does anybody need more time to get to this point before I move on? Okay. I want everybody watching when we do the other shoe because it will be turned sideways this time. Okay, here's the other shoe. We're going to start with a similar shape to what we did, but a little bit longer this time. I'm going to come right down to the ground, towards the edge here of this cone. And I'm going to bring something goes back like that and stops. So the start of the line's right there on our little line that goes across. Then I'm going to bring a horizontal line, go past that spot. And then I'm going to curve this back up under the trim, just like that. So I put my curved line, straight line, curve it back up under the trim. And then I'm just going to put the other side of the boot. This is the back end, the heel of the boot. This is the other side. It's just a little short line right there. And it's teeny tiny right there. And then of course we want to make the sole just come across just like this, and this. It's all the same. Got a sole on his boot. And I might even shorten this up a little bit so it's not so close to the sole. There we go. That looks better. Hopefully everybody's got that. We're going to raise it up. Now this guy is not hard. He's just different than the other one. Okay. So we're going to start with the oval for his nose, and we're going to build out from there. That will help us with the mustache and stuff. So this guy, you got this guy singing right here, and you got this guy looking up at him like, okay, what are you doing? So his is angled up. This is at a diagonal. That nose, this nose is horizontal. This nose is not horizontal. It's angled up because he's looking up. Okay, so with that said, we're just going to come right over here, come down a little ways for his hat. And I'm going to draw an oval that is at an angle. I don't quite like that one, so I'm going to change it just a little bit. Now a lot of times in here we're like, you drew a potato. Well, this time you kind of want to draw a potato. That's the way it should be. And his mustache and stuff is going to be quite a bit different. You're going to like his mustache because we're not really going to texture it all. We're going to come in here just outside the cone and bring a line that goes down and curves out, kind of that same S curve, just like that. Then we're going to bring it up near the top of the nose and curve it together. So that's one side of his mustache. And then the other side goes behind this cone shape here. It's just a curve. Just going to curve it around just like that. This is the middle. Hopefully that all makes sense to you. I'll bring it down closer. Hopefully you can see. So just a nice S curve, and then bring it back up, and then just bring that back up to the oval. And I probably should have made it a little bigger, but it's all right. They'll vary. While I'm here, I'm going to put the top part of his trim on. We've got this nose, I'm going to put this top part right here. Whoops, this top part right here, and then we'll do this second. So we're going to come around the side where the mustache is, kind of, bring this around above the nose like that, and then curve it down to the back of the cone, just like that. It's a slight curve. This is more like a question mark shape. If it was this way, it'd look more like a question mark. And for the bottom of that, we're just going to put a parallel line right here. It comes right up to the mustache and stops, and put a little slightly curved line on the back end, and that's finished up as far as that trim goes. We're not going to put any eyebrows on this guy, so should be pretty easy to do this one. Now his hat is not going to go straight up. His is going to be angled back because he's looking up. Okay, so instead of drawing a hat that goes straight up, we're going to bring it back kind of this way, like that, and we're going to keep that kind of that organic shape. And when we come around this way, we've got to put a few wrinkles in it, because this is the inside of the bend. Okay. Everything needs to have kind of a rounded off flow to it. No straight, hard lines on that hat. Everything should be kind of rounded off. Looks like a super fat finger pointing off to the right, with a little bitty fingertip. So I'll get rid of that original cone in there because it's just not going to help anything now. And then again with that little ball on the end, draw it lightly. If you want to make yours fuzzy or just a straight line, that's up to you. I'm just going to make mine a little fuzzy. You can do it either way, doesn't matter. Jimmy. Okay, we're going to put the beard on this guy now. Again, we're going to stay with this kind of this S shape that we've been doing. We'll come right out here between, come out beyond slightly, make a big S shape towards the bottom. Probably shouldn't have drawn it so dark so we can change the edge, but too late now. I'll draw this side lighter. I'm going to come out the edge of the hat, curve this around, light line, and bring it around like that. Now I have the basic shape of where his beard's going to go. And I'm going to have to erase that to make it lighter. I know where it is. I don't want it to completely disappear, but I just need to know where it is. It's just too dark. But now that I know where it is, I'm going to come in. I'm just going to put a few little cutouts. I think that's all I'm going to put on that side. Well, maybe one more. Down at the bottom. Then I'll put some over here. 1, 2, call it good. It looks more like a beard shape. The mustache we're going to leave alone though. Other than I don't like the shape right at the top, I'm just going to make that curve a little nicer. So for his arm, it's going to be pretty easy. Does anybody need more time on this before we draw the arm? Okay. We're almost to the fun part where we start to make them look more like something two-dimensional instead of just one-dimensional. All right, for this arm, we're going to draw the trim first. We're going to come right here. I'm just going to come right off the edge of that beard because it's far enough over. Draw the next part, curve it around. In my case, it goes a little bit beyond the original cone. And I'm just going to bring from behind the beard and bring that down. And that's his arm right there, okay? And I'll put his hand underneath that. When I go to draw the hand, I'll turn it sideways and just draw a letter C and not close it down one end. Okay, to draw the hand, I'm just going to turn it this way, like I said, and draw a letter C. I'll start not touching that, move away from it a little bit, and draw a letter C that comes right back in to the trim. And then for the thumb on this one, it'll be really easy. I'm just going to curve it and bring it right there and just leave that little tag. It's almost like a number 3. The thumb part needs to be smaller. Okay, so it's a pretty good line drawing. Now we need to make it look like it's not a line drawing. This is what you'd see in a coloring book. We want to make it look more like a finished drawing. So what we'll do is we'll just work from the top down, top down. So over here we're going to start with this little hat right here. And I'm going to do the whole thing in a light gray, keeping my lines super close together using the side of my pencil. Make sure you're using the side, not going straight up and down. When I say straight up and down, I mean not holding your pencil straight up and down like that, using the side of it. Keeping your lines super, super close together. So right now we're just coloring. Then we'll shade in a minute. So that's all pretty even. I'm going to do the same on his body here and the same on his arms. So with the arms are going a different direction, so when I color it in, I will change the direction that I'm coloring. I'm going to go with whatever the outside shape of the line is, whatever object I'm coloring in. I don't want to color it too dark because this is just my light base on here. And later we'll do some darkening in. Do both sides. The other thing this does is really helps the white areas stand out brighter. So I got his hat colored in, I got his arms colored in. Now I'm going to come down here and do the body. Go around that beard first so I don't accidentally color inside of it. Again, I'm following the shape of the line of the beard. And as I move away from it, I'll go more towards the shape of the line of the body. I'm not going to color my guy in over here yet because I don't want to be smearing all over my paper. Do him last. Okay, we've got a suit colored in, hat colored in. I'll color in the gloves. Or the mittens, I guess. The important thing here is to try to not scribble. And then I'm going to color in his shoes, or boots. Do it fairly light to start with. Come back and darken stuff up in later. At this point, my Santa Claus is all colored in. He's not shaded in whatsoever. He's just colored in is all he is. So he still looks pretty flat. The only thing left that I forgot is inside the mouth. We're going to color that in black. So whenever I do something black, I go around the edges first so I don't accidentally color where I shouldn't. And then I come back and fill it all in after I've gone around the edge. Just like that. So I've gone around the edge, now all I got to do is fill in between. If we get this one dude all shaded in today, that's a pretty good day. I don't know whether we'll get the other guy or not. At least we got this. Hopefully we'll get this guy. Raise your hand, those that need more time to finish coloring all that we've colored in. We did get quite a bit on there. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands, so I'm assuming we're all right. Okay, for the hat, we're going to start dark on the edge and lighter as we move towards the center. So less pressure, less pressure, less pressure on your pencil. Dark on the edge, lighter as you move towards the center. Putting less pressure on your pencil. So that outer edge is going to be pretty darn dark and lighter as we move in. And then we're going to go over to the other side and we're going to do the same thing. Just going the other way. Key is to make it look like it blends naturally from dark to light without there being a real harsh line on the inside edge of your shading. Should just lightly blend in. Now, towards the top here, it's all going to be kind of dark because it gets really close together. Then I'm going to bring a little right above the hat between the eyebrows and go dark and make it lighter as it moves up just a little bit. And that's to help make those eyebrows show up just a little better. Do that right here too. The base of the hat. If we've done it right, the hat should start to take on more of a two-dimensional quality. Make sure there's not a hard contrasting edge right here that just suddenly goes dark light instead of gradually going dark to light. When I go to do his arms, the underside of each arm will be the dark area, lighter as we move towards the top because the light's coming down. So for example, we'll come right here. I'm going to press pretty hard. And then lighter as I move up towards the top of the arm. It should just naturally blend in from dark to the gray that we've already got on there. Whatever we do on one side, we'll do the same on the other. I am going fairly dark with this. Give you a second to catch up. Okay, where his cuff, this is his trim around his cuff, meets the actual arm area. I'm going to put a little bit of a dark shadow right there because it kind of overlaps. Make that just a little darker right there. And I'm going to make it a little darker on the other side of it too, on the mitten. Now, an educated guess would say that if the underside of the arms are dark, the underside, bottom edge of the mitten's going to be a little darker. So we'll start darker here and blend it out as we move up. And then I'm going to just do the front side of that thumb a little bit and blend it back. Same thing over here. Now for some of you that have been shading for a while, this will be second nature and very easy for you. For those of you that are struggling a little bit, it's good practice. Even after all these years as a teacher and an artist, I still practice shading all the time. I don't think you can ever get what's called too good at it. All right, let's move on down to his body. Outer edge over here, darker, lighter as we move towards the center of the body. And just blend it out. Just naturally fades right into it. And it's really starting to help bring on a two-dimensional look to it. Or to him, I should say. I'm going to come over here on the right, do the same thing. And after we finish this little part of the shading, we're going to come in and put a cast shadow from that beard on him, onto his body. Don't be afraid to turn your paper to make it work for you instead of you working for it. we put this little shadow around the beard, I think it makes all the difference in the world. It really makes the beard look like it's coming forward towards us, and then the body's further back. So we're just going to come in right here at the edge. Start really dark and just let it fade right out. Start right in here at the edge. Let it fade out. We're going to go all the way up the right side of that. You can even go up onto the arm a little bit with it. Makes that side stand out more. We'll go over to the other side when we're done. Now I'm going to come over here, do the exact same thing on this side. And if it extends out into the trim at the bottom of the suit, that's okay. All right, we'll move down. Does anybody need more time with that before I move to the shoes? All right, with the shoes, I'm going to leave a little light spot right in here and about right in here. I might even erase that out a little bit. Maybe like a little highlight on the shoe. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to color it in quite a bit darker. Just lighter as I go up. Come around above that little shiny spot. Same thing over here, just a little lighter as I come up. That little part of the shoe that's the upper part that's sticking out, that's actually the part where his leg goes. I'm going to just darken that in on each side. It's just a tiny spot. Just kind of going a little darker around the soles. And just a little darker on the bottom of them, fade it out. That's all I'm going to do with those boots. You got two little boots with a little shine on it. Now the tricky part. Everybody's going to need, well, you know what? We got a lot done today. I say we call it a day and let you visit until it's time to go to lunch. Sound good? Let's go ahead and just call it, and we'll finish this up on Thursday.